Around 20 years ago, people around the world started displaying a range of special powers and abilities. With each year, the number of these cases increased. The governments of the world needed a way to organize and regulate these people. My name is Angus, and I work for the Superhuman Action Response Team. With my partner Sal, I help document these powered individuals and their exploits. Because heroes don't do paperwork.
The work's coming along nicely. I think it'll be done before the day's through. It's good.
Yeah. No, this is
good.
It is. Yeah, it is good. Yeah. Oh,
It's for the best. It's for the best.
I'm glad you think that way. I felt like this is probably for the best too. You know, we gave it a go, and just wasn't in the cards. You know. That being said, your cards are here, and I just figured we should probably put those over on your side before the partition, the wall is kind of finished. You know. But,
oh yeah, no, thank you. I guess I can't just pop over there anymore, eh?
Well, you can just visit and knock and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I don't. Right. And I just figured, like, I don't really need your collectible accountant cards. You know, like, I don't even know who any of these people are. Gus Struve, like I don't even know what that is. Like
Kevin Fonkman.
Yeah. Kevin Fonkman, love the name, but yeah, I don't know any of these stats on the back of his card. I have no idea what litigation or.
APM 5,000. That's accounts per minute. You can do 5,000 accounts per minute.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. Here you go. You just take those and.
Thanks. Oh, by the way, I managed to get your posters off of the sticky tack on the wall here. So.
Thank you. Which ones are we talking about here?
Well, I was looking at this one here. Did you know that this poster was actually laminated by Carl Sigix?
I don't know.
One of the best laminators in the business.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would have known that.
It's got his initials right there in the corner.
Oh, it does. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then I'm going to take my monster truck Centaur poster back, and I'm going to put that over on my side. Sal, sorry, I totally forgot to run it by you, but we have the mics and everything set up. It's okay if I record this round, right? Like, we're cool. Yeah. We both think it's cool. We're fine with it.
Yeah.
Just put it out there, you know?
Yeah. The audience wants to hear it, I'm sure.
All right. Well, hello, super citizens, and welcome to Heroes Don't Do Paperwork, the only podcast about events both big and small in Super City. I'm one of your hosts, Angus, joined by my co-host and former roommate. Yeah, Sal Bedfellow. How are you doing, Sal?
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too. Yeah, to an extent, definitely. Yeah. Just to catch listeners up, Sal and I have been living together for a little while, and it's been.
It was okay.
It's been okay. It's been a failure in a lot of ways.
Right.
It's been fun in a lot of ways, but it's been a failure in a lot of ways, especially the stuff with Dex has kind of opened our eyes up a bit that maybe we work better apart. You know, not necessarily living together. So we've decided that we should not move out. Sal is not going to move out. We're instead going to build a partition in our apartment, thus splitting it into two separate apartments.
Of course, yes. It was difficult to split up shared resources, of course. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, we decided that the couch in the living room would act as the median point, and the wall just sort of builds through that couch.
Yeah, I think it's going to become a load-bearing couch. So.
For sure. Of course, Angus got the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I got the side of the kitchen with the sink, so I still have access to water.
Yeah. Sal was very generous. Let me keep my Murphy bed. With my I
do get visitation rights to the Murphy bed.
Of course. Well, yeah, because the portal above it is sometimes we kind of peer into it and hope to see Dex. No new news on that, but yeah. And to help us with this project, because Sal and I aren't particularly, I don't know, how would you say, handy. Or we're not craftsmen. We decided to hire a professional, so we reached out to an old friend, and he came to help us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rep Tyler.
Oh, hi. It's nice to see you
Hey,
both again.
it's
It's just been working away at the one end of the wall here. Tyler
yeah.
McTavish, of course, Rep Tyler, to those who think, but just Tyler to my friends, of course.
Well, thank you so much, and we do think of you, friends. Truly, we were not sure kind of who to call for this undertaking, and
Then you just sort of uncamouflaged
yeah,
from the wall.
that's right. You cut like kind of like you'd always been there, and that, you arrived in our darkest hour. So really, like, thank you.
I'm glad to be here. I mean, I have a sixth sense for these things as a contractor trying to find work. I mean, you sometimes people call you, but don't always think they're reputable or they have the
Mhm.
right job. And sometimes I'll just, of course, sneak into someone's home, camouflage, and pop out exactly when they need me to be
Well,
working on the interior.
thank you so much, and we're sorry. I'm sorry that I kind of slept in a bit, so you kind of started getting to work while I was still in bed. So sorry I haven't been more help. I've been kind of
Yeah.
I'm a slow start to the day. I need my drink, and I need my pod. I got set up my podcast equipment. So I really appreciate you kind of starting and taking the lion's share of building this wall.
Oh, no worries at all. I mean, I always say you should always start your day with the three P's if you're Angus, right? You got to have your porridge, your podcasting equipment, and some protein, and that'll set you off in the right direction for a solid day.
I I love Rep Tyler. You're the best. Like, you're right. You get me. You get us. And that's why also kind of we thought we didn't really want to invite a stranger in. Sal and I are clearly going in. We're going through some stuff right now. Kind of this
Hmm.
separation as roommates. We're still going to do the podcast together. We're still going to work at Shart together. We're just not going to live together. We didn't want the listeners to be worried, and we also just want the listeners to know it's not your fault that this is happening.
No, we understand that times like these, it's easy to try and get stuck in the mindset that
Hmm.
someone needs to be assigned blame. But
Hmm.
I want our listeners to know that this is squarely my fault.
No. Oh
I
no.
ruined
Oh,
everything.
No.
If I hadn't fumbled the most important being to me at the last moment and lost them to a demon in an interdimensional realm for all eternity, then none of this would have happened.
Sal, I can't let you take full blame for that. Honestly, if I had maybe been less focused on the podcast or less focused on impressing Braxton or the other people of the shark training class that I'm in, maybe I would have realized that cult was up to something sooner. But I appreciate your honesty and you know, thank you.
the two of you obviously have a lot going on. I mean, the last time I
Yeah.
visited you, there was mostly you
Yeah.
seem to be similarly on the same page. It looks like you've had a fun arc in between our
Yeah.
last meeting. There's been
Yeah, quite a few things have happened. A lot of Reptiler, you might be surprised. A lot of demon stuff in the last because it's been quite a while since we saw you last. Been a few months, I would say.
I also
And
briefly became a planet.
oh yes, you were briefly a planet.
oh.
What else? Oh well, Sal and I we were quarantined because of a demon altercation, and we had a little civil war between us.
Oh,
We still
Yeah.
have the Accords framed above the
We do.
couch.
We do. We have a peace treaty that we would no longer command bugs or marionettes to fight each other. It's a whole thing. But yeah. Also, thank you for being here, Reptiler. I feel like when I reach out to some people, especially people who have already been on the show before, they just come up with these excuses why they don't want. They've got to wash their hair, or they've got a thing, or a
They're going
family
on
member
another
has died.
podcast.
Exactly. Or they're going on another podcast. Exactly.
oh. Well, I mean, and as a lizard fella, I don't have any hair, so you don't have to worry about that. Of course, I mean, it's more sometimes I'll brush a scale off or two if I want to be presentable, but
And
Skills!
it's okay, Sal. Tyler, Sal gets triggered by any kind of fish-related stuff, or foot stuff because of our foot fish monster. You'll have to excuse him. I guess I did kind of want to ask, since we're doing the show, if I could ask you a few questions about this job. It might be a little unusual, and our listeners might find it a little interesting. Do you mind?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you obviously have an approach to this interior that you want to realize your vision. And I mean, some other contractors would come in here and say, this is a bachelor apartment, and you want to divide it down the middle with a wall over a load-bearing couch. What an abomination against man nor God would this construction project be. I like to take a positive outreach. I mean, I've worked with a lot of designers with some wacky visions, and it's all about taking that vision and turning it into the best version of that reality. And I think I can help you there. So let's talk about your project.
Well, it's a great question. Because I think of this as I get it. This is an unusual request. Have you had requests like this in the past, or are there any kind of other unusual contracting requests you've gotten in Super City?
Well, I mean, if I could answer your question with another question in terms of this particular project spec, can you think of any other two people who would live like this?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, I've absolutely had. I mean, of course, there was Arachnid Joe. He, of course, had a fully open floor. He got a 2-story apartment and knocked out the floor in between them because he's more of a wall climbing type of a fella rather than a floor walking type of a fella. You get unusual requests all over town.
Now, with him, do you have to mount appliances to the wall or anything like that? Because you're missing out on all that floor space that second floor would provide. How do you kind of accommodate that?
Well, I mean, of course, so the appliances are pretty specific. I mean, he does have a nice blender because he enjoys the odd smoothie.
Yeah.
Whereas most of his nutrition is held in web sacks, and he just sort of drains the liquid out of it on account of
Makes sense.
If you're an arachnid fella, it's not all clean cut. I mean, it's not. You're not going to a fine dinner party in the same way and using silverware.
Fascinating.
Now, you brought up another one of the fellas, and it's my understanding that the fellas, of course, a well-known supergroup within Super City, all of them various type of animal-human hybrids. You get together on a regular basis and just sort of talk about your experiences. Has there been anything else going on lately amongst the fellas that you maybe wanted to highlight?
Oh, well, I mean, now we are a supportive group. We like to stay on the outlook. I mean, being a half animal, half human hybrid mutant, making your way through the world, you can have a very unique perspective. And of course, we have a group called Fellas Supporting Fellas, where of course you can call up a fella and chat with a fella. If you need a fella who's going to be a friend, I mean, find a fella, find an ear, lean into that ear, and chat a fella. Again, if somebody comes to you and they say, look, I have giraffe legs, and I find that most doorways are too short for me, and I feel like the world isn't made for me. And you say, look, come on, fella, that's a metaphor even larger for life. Other people are feeling that way. Well, why don't you come into the fold? And I'll do things like I'll go over and I'll renovate their doorways, and then there's another, of course, the Six Sid the Silkworm. I mean, he's a fantastic tailor, so he'll make a custom pair of trousers, of course, for a giraffe leg fella, and we just like to make him feel welcome. We sit around and we tell stories about how we take inspiration from both the animal side of ourselves and the human side of ourselves.
Don't reject it. Make it. It's part of you. So I really appreciate that and respect that. That's
a really good cause. Wow.
We really should try to do something, Sal, about standardizing doorways across Super City. It's something we haven't really thought about,
Right,
it's slow
but
going.
then of course the groups that can't even use doorways, there are a number of vampire folk that if there's a doorway present, they need to ask someone's permission before they can cross that threshold. It's a tricky business.
There's a lot of rules. No, you're right. Well, we'll do what we can. It's nice to have. I feel like it's very nice to have a contractor out there like you, Rep Tyler, who can just kind of help people make their space feel more comfortable. Because we spend a lot of time at home, and it should be your sanctuary. And I appreciate that you're helping us turn this small sanctuary into two much smaller sanctuaries.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could always paint a wall a light color to make it seem a little bigger. Although, if I may ask, it seems like you two have had a hard time. You've had a hard run of things. There seems to be some tension between you. It sounds like you've done something equivalent to raising and losing a child together, if you mind. And now, I mean, if this wall, some would see it as a barrier, you know. And I myself am a fan of the concept of conscious uncoupling. I feel, you know, if you actually choose to sort of make a division within your life
Oh wow.
between
I don't.
someone, I mean, that seems to be a concept that a lot of people, you know, you get caught up in traditional relationship norms, you know. Like, I mean, everyone and their co-worker slash podcast host is, of course, raising a fish monster baby, and then occasionally goes through loss. That's a standard in this city, you know. Like, that's just
If I had a
tragedy
nickel,
strikes.
if I had a nickel for every time that comes
No.
up.
Yeah.
Just-
So, I mean, and I don't want every experience is unique. I would never call yours mundane. I just, you got to find those relatable notes. And I mean, conscious uncoupling. I mean, that could, of course, we can turn these into two beautiful spaces. Two beautiful spaces that just, you know, incorporate both of your individual needs as you now choose to interact with one another.
That's actually a good thought. We should probably, Sal, maybe run down a couple of things each of us would like to have on our side of the apartment. You know what I mean? Because there was stuff that we couldn't, like. I could never get a 4-player stand-up X-Men arcade game because you thought it was too noisy. And so
Well,
now I
also,
can
just
make
the
room for that.
concept of animating letters of the alphabet.
But
offends
X
me
is
at-
the coolest letter. They're doing like cartwheels and stuff. Multiplying? Come on.
I personally wouldn't mind finally getting that separate pipeline connected to the juice stream that runs through the city, having that come right out of the faucet.
That's right. We talk a lot about juice on the show, but we have not actually explained that there are pipes that carry juice all throughout the city,
Yes, it's
and
a
that
whole
you want to tap on your side.
I want to tap. I've always wanted to tap, but the big one that always comes up is, well, it's very sticky and the cleaning is horrific.
Well, I assume those pipes need to get flushed with hot water like every couple days, like boiling hot magma or something like that.
Yes, not everyone's willing to take on that level of maintenance, but now that this is my space, this is something I'd be interested in pursuing.
Wow. And I, Rep Tyler, do you think either of those would be doable? Do you think I could actually rig this side of my room to have power for that kind of arcade machine, and that he could actually have these juice pipes hooked up? Is that something you could do?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we wanted to run a juice pipe off of the main line, we'd of course just have to. I mean, I'd have to tap into the main, you know, the main juice supply within the city. But of course, you know, we could go in. That's a main wall. I mean, that's a conduit for the stack of the main plumbing going down through the building. So we could carry on alongside that. And you know, every building in the city, of course, you know, has a juice pipe running under it. I mean, if you don't have general juice access, I mean, what?
That's why we pay our taxes.
Yeah. It was deemed a human, superhuman right in Super City. Was everyone deserves access to shelter, food, juice, water,
of course,
clothing, that kind of stuff. Wow. Well, I really do appreciate that, and I've been giving it some more thought too. You were talking about like compartmentalizing. What would you a conscious uncoupling?
Yeah, conscious uncoupling.
I'm curious if there's any, and this would obviously be, Sal would have to weigh in on this too, but could we have maybe in this wall that you're building, and you're doing a great job building the wall while we're podcasting. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we got about halfway along there, you know, and we were setting in. I mean, I had to offset the bricks a tiny bit. Like I wanted to do more of a mosaic pattern, but we're doing more of a traditional stack. Just because I need to focus on two things at once.
Exactly, and the couch in the way is not helping at all. But I was wondering if maybe we could have, and once again, Sal, tell me if this is too much, but maybe just some kind of slider, like a window in like a restaurant where one person yells into the kitchen, and I could kind of I could check in with Sal every now and then. You know what I mean? And also, because I don't have a kitchen on my side of the apartment, I would request food and sustenance from this window.
Now, I appreciate you coming to me before we just put this in, Angus. I've actually got, I want to maybe go more into this feature request with Tyler. Tyler, in your experience with fellas helping fellas, if a fella was let down by another fella, that fella messed up in the biggest way and let something precious slip right through his fingers and disappear into an endless abyss, do you think their co-fella would want anything to do with them? Because my concern with having this window set up is that my neighbor may see me and be reminded of the horrible thing I did and not want nothing to do with me. So anyways, could I get your thoughts on that?
Oh, you're being very, very coy. I feel, I get a gut feeling like you might be talking about yourself.
It does seem that way, Sal. Yeah.
Well, here, I have a practical suggestion and how it might relate to your metaphorical conundrum. For one, I have noticed that as we set this wall up down the middle of the room, that we may be cask of amontillatoing your friend into the
Yeah.
one side of the room with no recourse or exit. And
Yeah.
although I feel like you might feel like you need to be shut into a dark hole from which there is no escape, I always like to feel like things can get better. So I may take the liberty of installing a separate doorway into the outer hallway.
I would appreciate that greatly. I don't think either of us should get stuck there, and I think I just got lucky this time that the door was kind of more on my side. Sal, I think if I may, from one fellow to another, we're not animals, but we are people. I don't think you screwed up that bad. I mean, no worse than I did, man. I feel like there's enough blame to go around at this blame potluck. You know what I mean?
Yes, but in this imagery you've created, I think I deserve at least 2 or maybe 3 extra helpings of blame on my dish.
Yeah, you get some more blame casserole.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of taking the blame cookies and brownies that are at the end of the table.
You don't want to fill up on your blame dessert before you have had a chance to have the blame main course.
I gotta just say, I think we're all very good at metaphors here.
Yeah.
I look, I think if you really want to not remind the people who are also hurt about the things that have gone on that have made you feel so terrible, I think you need to confront it. If you're going to genuinely continue to interact with each other, look into each other's eyes for a second there. Just take a good long look.
Okay.
And what do you see? Sal, what do you see inside the eyes of your friend Angus there?
I see someone who's got a lot of potential. I see someone who's got a lot of passion for their creative interests. And I see someone who did their very best in raising probably one of the brightest shining half-fish, half-foot monsters that has ever lived.
That's beautiful. See, look, it's just that the appreciation, the thing you lost, you still had to build it together. And you still had to have that. That still lives in your heart. That's a part of you now. And
God, wouldn't it just be so much easier, though, if we just built a wall between us and we just didn't have to talk about things that made us sad ever? You know?
Well, I mean,
it's easier.
It's in process. It's about 3/4 of the way down now.
We're
on our way.
Yeah. There's just kind of been, listeners, I don't know, there's just been kind of tool noises in the background this whole time. That's Rep Tyler doing this by himself and
Just
being
him.
an excellent podcast guest.
I try to multitask. It's good to be efficient. I mean, that's how we keep the lights on, right? Apart from, by the way, I did change out for like a small scale chandelier overhead as well. I think it really brightens up the area.
That's tasteful.
Yeah.
And I do hope you enjoyed your marmalade bar on your side so far, Sal. But I mean, apart from that, because again, this is all just business as per usual. Installing.
Yeah.
Angus, if you look into Sal's eyes.
Oh yeah.
If you just look through, what do you see there?
He sees a failure.
No, hey, come on. Look at
Sal.
Stop closing your eyes.
Sal, you're not looking in a mirror. Come on.
Open the eyes. Sal, he's looking in a mirror. Look at me. Look at me, Sal. Okay, fine. Look at me through the mirror. That'll do. I'll look into the mirror. I'll look into your mirror eyes.
That's it. Here,
Okay.
I've just constructed an empty mirror frame. Here, now you can look
great.
through that and pretend.
That was incredibly fast. How quickly you threw that together. But okay. I'm gonna hold it between us, Sal. So we've got this mirror frame between us. This very symbolic moment between the two of us. I look at you and I look in your eyes and I see dedication, I see professionalism. I see an attention to detail unlike anything I've ever seen. And I see someone who's too hard on themselves. Someone who's going for seconds or thirds or even fourths at that shame buffet.
Blame
It's a
buffet.
buffet now. Yeah.
Blame buffet, yeah.
The blame buffet. Well, there's a shame buffet right on the other side. There's a shame
right.
salad bar, and then there's a self-pity. There's a guy who's making self-pity omelets with the hot plate.
You can eat negative emotion restaurant.
Mm-hmm. And I think you need to come over here, and you gotta, come back to us, at the positive breakfast place, They do breakfast all day.
I don't know how you two can be so kind to me. You are both good people. Thank you. Thank you so much. This will be something that takes a little bit of time for me to come back from. But, Angus, if you'd be willing, would you help me come back from this dark place?
Absolutely. I think we got to be there for each other, And I thought, we still want to go through this. We still want our own spaces because, that's the other thing. Sal and I, as good coworkers as we are, as good podcast hosts we are, we just weren't the best roommates. We had habits that the other didn't like. And I kind of think maybe it'd be fun if Sal and I each got to personalize, a bit of each of our sides of the space,
Yeah.
Besides the juice, besides the arcade cabinet, I don't know, Sal, if you had to describe an overall style for your side of the apartment that could maybe help Rep Tyler out, what would you say?
Casual.
Business casual. Gotcha. So casual, but not too casual.
Yeah. No, still respectful. Modest and respectful. Yeah.
Tyler, do you have like a beige khaki paint anywhere?
If you'll notice, the accent wall is done in a specific khaki brand already, and of course you'll note the lines on the drapes have sort of the angles on them to emulate the angles of a polo collar.
Wow! Wow!
Those are good pleats too.
Yeah! Wow! They're pleated. What do you think, Sal? You like it?
It's wonderful. I feel like I've worn this room before.
And if you notice, I've taken the liberty on your side, of course. Now, there's a small desk there, because I know you like to take your work home. You're a motivated person. And what I've done is I've folded up 427 of your favorite requisition forms. And I've coated them in an epoxy to make this desk. So as you're working on requisition forms, you can see through this buffed clear coat all the requisition forms that inspire you on a day-to-day.
This is a very metaphorical episode for Heroes Don't Do Paperwork, in the same way that this city is built on the back of the bureaucracy of the Superhuman Action Response Team. The work I do for that very organization is built off of the forms that comprise its bureaucracy. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Wow.
You're so welcome. And it was quick to knock together. I just wanted to say, Angus, that of course I rebuilt your Murphy bed out of the wood of a tree that was in front of the house you grew up in. Just once it was struck by light. It was kicking around, and I thought it might have some meaning to you. Although I knocked it together.
No. Can I tell you guys about that? I was so jealous of all the kids who got superpowers when they were kids. A lot of them got struck by lightning. I think I was late for school, or I missed school one day, and the bus got struck by lightning, and all the rest of the kids got superpowers. So I ran around my front yard, swinging golf clubs around, tin foil, that kind of stuff. And you're not gonna believe it, the tree got struck, not me. The tree got struck. And briefly, the tree had superpowers right before it died, because it couldn't put the fire out. But
It had the ability to control fire, but it was still very much flammable.
Yeah. And this means so much to me, and obviously, I want my side to be to reflect a little bit more, less the paperwork side, more the awe and the wonder and the super things that happened in Super City. So this tree being struck by lightning this is a beautiful reminder. I really do appreciate this.
I did put a canopy over the top of it as well, as you did mention, and I could tell from the way you've been standing that a demonic arm has been giving you wedgie upon wedgie while you try to sleep. I think this might help you to get a more restful night.
I am still trying to pull my underwear out of me, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Look, and I just I want to say, because again, and Angus, is there any? These are starting to look like beautiful spaces. I mean, we're almost finished this wall down the middle.
It's true. It's almost done.
If and I mean, I've only been able to do minor art arrangements on either side of the wall in both of your.
It's pretty amazing. We haven't even talked about how you did half of my wall in newspaper clippings about heroes saving people. Really something for me to look up to. I really do appreciate it.
The part I've been impressed most by is that you will go sort of to hand someone a tool, and then you will be the one receiving that tool by teleporting to it.
It's true. It's true. You're kind of you're kind of everywhere at once. It's very impressive. I assume that's just another ability that comes with being a reptile person.
I mean, it's a short list. I mean, look, everyone has their own unique responsibilities, and they have what they bring to the table. Some people are punctual. Some people have wing flaps, pheromones that can hypnotize people, the ability to teleport, adhesive saliva with basic healing ability. I mean, some people just bring that to the table. It doesn't add extra value. Yeah. You have to do what you're good at. And I'm just good at zeroing in on what I'm good at in life. Reptiler's happy with Reptiler.
Oh, man. And Reptiler, you do seem like a fully actualized person who's okay with their spot in the universe and just maybe the happiest, most put together person we've ever had on the show.
Yeah, you're pretty much at the top of that pyramid of needs.
You're just so cool. You always know what you need, and you're always confident in what you're doing, and you're very skilled, and it's just, I look up to you. I look up to you in a way. I look up to superheroes for saving people, and I've been kind of, it's all been staring me in the face, with Sal's paperwork, with your, modifications to people's homes. You guys are saving people in your own way too. I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with the podcast, the thing that I'm good at, is to help people. This has all been very, eye-opening for me.
Look, and I know there's been strife between you. I know that you've had a hard moment. And I mean, you can't turn back time. I mean, I can a little turn back time. You can't in the same. Yeah. I mean, you have to deal with that. I mean, I can turn back time, for about 5 minutes. It's a reptilian response thing, right? Like to be able to phase through time and space. But I mean, of course, that's all highly regulated, right? I mean, you don't want,
and it doesn't make you better than anyone else. You know what I mean? No, of course not.
No, I just apply it to
what I. Is this a future version of yourself coming now to tell you the job's done?
No, because I never do it. This is the thing: is I wouldn't want to make any sort of quantum irregularities, right? I mean, that is irresponsible. At my house, I have a isolated bricked in room that I do my glow ups in, so I mean, as long as I'm gluing up pieces of wood, because you only get a certain open time on glue, right? So you lay out your stuff, you phase back through time, and you can have multiple versions of yourself in a room, but working on a glue up, and that's how you get a nice tight glue joint, right? I mean, that, and of course running it well on it's a nice tight run on a planer, a smooth surface, good even clamping pressure, and a little bit of time manipulation, and that tabletop, it comes together right dandy.
Sal, you sneaky guy, do you see what he's doing, Sal? The glue that he's talking about, this small window, these are moments that you interact with people, and I think he means that you and I are the wood joints, and that we just need the right moment or glue to come together firmly, and it's not the end of the world if that moment's not right now. We got to make the time for it. We got to manipulate time for it. And we are the table, Sal. Do you get it?
We got to leave ourselves a window for that opportunity. I get you. Reptiler, if it's not too much to ask, could you put in that little drive-through window Angus described before?
Yes.
So that we might be able to touch base with each other at some point.
Sal, I want you to touch that one brick.
This one here?
Yes. And you'll notice I've already installed
my God. It's a window.
A secret section of window that melds perfectly with the brick.
Amazing.
Wow. And I can see you through it, and we could like interact and stuff.
And the important thing about this is that once it's finished, you'll have to touch either side of it at the same time. To open this door, you'll have to be on the same page.
Wow.
And that's more, because in a realistic, you could also just walk into the hall and knock on the other door. I mean, that would be a more regular way of going around. But this, I felt it was a nice touch, both aesthetically and metaphorically.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially considering how close it is to the two new doors. It's very close. It's because it's at the end of the wall. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know, and this is beautiful. Thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I thank you so much for inviting me back to do this work once I uncamouflaged in your living room. I hope you didn't feel pressured into having me be your contractor.
I want you to know that you saved us, really. Like, you are a lifesaver. You came right at the right time. Absolutely. Emerge from camouflage whenever you want with us. You know, you're always welcome. You're always welcome with Sal and I.
Absolutely. Either side of this split apartment, you can.
If you want, I bet we could even chop this down into a third room, and you could just come live with us.
Oh, I take it. I mean, you know what? I may take you up on that at some point. And for now, I'm gonna stick to my log framed home down. But I still need to have you down there to a barbecue.
Oh, that would be delightful. We could meet with the fellas. You know.
Oh, you know what?
Do some kind of peace.
Fellas are always helping fellas. And when fellas help fellas, fellas get happy. So if you two ever feel like you just want to be one of the fellas, you step on down and you'll find a welcoming ear and shoulder, whether it be an elephant ear, a human ear, or a horse's shoulder to lean your cheek.
Sal, look, Rip Tyler, he's fading into gold dust. He's going out the window. He's gone. He just wait.
He's gone on the whisper of a breeze of wind.
Wow.
Fellas help fellas.
Wow. Oh, God. God, that guy is great.
Amazing. Is turning into gold dust another one of his powers?
I think it is. Because he can teleport. But this was like much more poetic. And like, I don't know. It was like almost like Santa Claus.
Transitioning between matter.
Yeah. God, we're going to have to ask him about that next time. That's going to do it for us here at Heroes Don't Do Paperwork. For those of you listening at home, try to do the right thing. Sal, I think this is really going to be the best thing for us. In fact, I was actually wondering, with this new window in the wall, maybe we could do some late night study sessions. You know, because like my exams are coming up like in a few weeks. I'm running out of time, and I could really use your hand studying. You know.
I would not normally pass an opportunity to hang out with you, but
okay.
I am one of the evaluators for the field agent exams.
What?
And I'll likely be assessing your skills in the examination, so I cannot ethically assist you. But if you ever want to pop over for a glass of juice, feel free.
Hey everybody, Angus here. As always, Sal Bedfellow was played by Matthew Wally. Tyler McTavish was played by Woody McCadden. Woody's a member of the new interim leadership team at the Improv Embassy. The Improv Embassy is looking at having classes up and running again in 2022, so keep an eye out for that at improvembassy.com. If you like the show and want to support it, or any of the other shows at the Pod Cavern, head on over to podcavern.com and check out our merch store. We've got lots of cool hoodies, t-shirts, hats, stuff like that. Anything you buy there will help us keep the lights on. Thanks for listening.